It's Kylie back with you today, and I'm going to be sharing a process video of a scrapbooking layout using the gorgeous new Daydream collection from Coco Vanilla Studio. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, again, another stunning collection designed and created right here in Australia. Lots of pretty pastels and florals and butterflies, rainbows. These are just some of the paper designs that you can see, all really lovely to use in your projects. So what I thought I'd do today, I'm going to create a layout with, of course, flowers, because if you know me, you know how much I love flowers. And I'm actually going to be working with some layered flowers created from a cut file. Now this cut file has been designed by Neat and Crafty Cuts, which I will link the store below my video today, and you'll see I've already cut a few flowers and some leaves from some of the papers, and I've got some more here on my mat that I'm just going to peel away. I've resized some of them to suit the needs of my page design and what I've got in mind. I'm just going to begin by getting all these sizes together so that I can layer my flowers. Okay, so I've got my lovely layered flowers all cut out with my silhouette cameo, and these little sprinkles come in the Daydream collection. Lots of little sequins and pretty leaves. I thought that I would use these in the center of my flowers, and I'll probably incorporate these too. These gorgeous little paper roses also come in the collection. But to start with, so that the flowers have some dimension to them, I usually like to fold the petals up a little. Now this will create a little bit of height in your layout, and I get a lot of people asking me how I store layouts that do have a fair amount of height in them. And look, I still place them into my albums. I don't really find I have a problem with them being damaged in any way or being flattened. But what I've done there is I've just folded the petals in half and just lifted them up from the center there, as you can see. And I'm going to just start building those layers into those little blooms. And you can see already how gorgeous that looks. This little, it looks like a little white daisy, the print on this paper. I just love it. Color of it is beautiful as well. So I'm just going to pinch my little petals and then bring them together. Now when I'm working with paper flowers such as these, I like to use a fairly strong glue, and I love this glue Sticky Thumb, which is from American Crafts. It does dry super fast, so you need to be sure that what you're adhering together is where it needs to be, because it really does dry quite quickly. But I like it because it's nice and strong for creating my flowers. And I'm just using the smallest amount, and I'm going to layer these offset. So what I mean by that is, you can see I've lined up that second row of petals to go in between the first row. You don't have to do that. You can have them all lined up neatly together, which gives you another look. But you can see there already how cute that's going to look, and that glue is set already. It's really fast. I love it. So just a tiny little dab on the back. That's actually even probably too much. And again, I'm going to line that up so that it's offset to the second row. So you can see there how that gives a multi-dimensional flower, and it was just so simple. Now, as I mentioned, for the center, I'm going to use some of these cute little sequins. And I think I might even like to add more than just one, so that, you know, there's that extra little bit of sparkle to the center of my flower. I've got my good old tweezers that I'm going to use. There's all different colored sequins in this pack. You've sort of got a pink, a blue, there's gold, pale lemon. They're all in colours of the Daydream collection. So I'm just going to pull a few out. I wouldn't mind a little goldy tone one there. So using this, takes a little bit of time, but you just got to be patient. Using my tweezers and my strong glue, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the back and just start layering them around that center of the flower, and it's going to give your layout a really lovely sparkle and extra color. Oh. So there we have one little completed flower, and that glue will dry clear in the center so you won't see it amongst your sequins. But I'm going to go ahead now and just using the same technique as what I did for this first flower and create some more for my layout. Okay, so I finished all of my flowers, as you can see, and I've added some sparkly sequins into the center of them. You can see there. And on these little guys, I've added some of those paper roses that I showed earlier. And on one here, I've added one of the button flares, which there's a cute little packet of 6 that you get with the collection. And I thought for something different, I'd add this little smiley heart to the center of my flower. And remember, if it does worry you, you don't have to have your flowers folded up as much as what I've folded mine there. You can, of course, have them sitting a lot flatter. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to now bring my layout together, and for my background I've selected these 2 papers from the collection. One is Sweet Serenity, the other is Over the Rainbow, which is a lovely wood grain finish. So what I'm going to do is just going to trim off the branding strip off the bottom. And I'm going to have this piece of paper, the Sweet Serenity, as my background and overlay the wood grain finish over the top. So this is just going to be completely random in measurements, but let's say I'm going to trim that one at around 18 centimeters wide, or at 7 inches if you like. And then I'm going to remove 1.5 centimeters, actually we'll say 3 centimeters off it lengthways, like so. And that way, you can see there, it's just going to sit like so. That's how I'd like it to sit onto the backing of my layout. What I'll do is I'm just going to distress the edges a little. My distress tool. If you don't have a distress tool, you can just use the blade of your scissors. It'll work equally as well, just to give it a nice amount of texture. Like so. And another technique I like to do, sometimes I like to add some machine stitching around the outer edge, or I like to use a white marker and just freehand draw a border around the edges. Just helps to stand out a little, gives it a nice framed effect. I certainly don't worry about it being straight, and I'll just do a couple of rows on each side. Again, it's just purely visual to give that sort of a nice framed effect, but you could still do machine stitching if you prefer, or you might even like to do some hand stitching as well. They're all elements that will give your layout some texture and some dimension. My latest thing has been the white marker. Okay, so we're going to adhere that Now to our background, just make sure you can see there. I never use glue to adhere my background pages. I always use a double-sided tape, purely because glue can make your page buckle, and that's just my opinion. Some glues as they dry can crinkle and buckle a little bit, whereas using the double-sided tape, I find that you can get the paper to sit nice and smooth. It doesn't sit wet at all either. Sometimes some glues can be quite wet. So there's a time and a place for every product, really. I can pull my strips of double-sided tape once I'm happy. And that's my background now, ready to be embellished. And I'm just using my fingernails to lift those edges a little, again just to give it a nice amount of texture. Doesn't matter if it rips a little, it all adds to the effect. So now I just want to come in with my little flowers and just randomly place them where I think I'd like them to go. One there with the little smiley face. I've got 2 photos for my layout today, which I've printed a little bit smaller. And I've got a second one there. So there you have it, guys, a little look into the beautiful Daydream collection from Coco Vanilla Studio. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how my little flowers came together today and my layout, and it gives you a little bit of inspiration for your own scrapbooking. Thanks for stopping by today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.